Now, yesterday was Super Wednesday. It's the day when the largest number of by-elections are held. 45 seats were up for grabs and 39 in Ditsobotla, 5 in Mkhondo and 1 in eThekwini. Results are expected this morning, though. So let's get some analysis from election analyst Wayne Sussman joining me this morning. Wayne, thank you for your time and good morning to you. Now, what do the results tell us thus far?
Thank you. Good morning to you as well. Let's focus on Ditsobotla first, because this is where the largest amount of seats were up for grabs in this Super Wednesday in December. And what we've seen here thus far is 7 wards have been declared. The EFF have taken 2 wards off the ANC. This includes a very rural part of the ward, and we know that the ANC stronghold across South Africa and certainly in this municipality on the very rural in the very rural wards. So there the EFF have shocked the ANC. We've also seen in the Bodibe area, where the Bodibe tribal authority is, a lot of voters in Ditsobotla there. The EFF have taken a ward off the ANC. And I just want to remind viewers that this is different to normal by-elections in Ditsobotla because you get 2 ballots, one ward ballot and 1 proportional ballot. And that is why it's not good enough to just focus on retaining the ward, because that's normally first prize in a by-election. As long as I retain the ward, my party gets to keep that seat. What we need to focus here is the percentages by which parties are winning wards. And in every ward the ANC's won thus far, its support is declining. And what we're on track for here is a historic result in Ditsobotla, in the area of Lichtenburg and Colleen in the northwest, where the ANC will, in most likelihood, fall under 50% for the first time in its history, and Ditsobotla will have a coalition government after these local government elections.
Interesting. And also, as you mentioned, the EFF shocking the ANC there, who are also some of the winners and also some of the losers in this big round of by-elections. Wayne?
Great. So let's just start again, focus on Ditsobotla. Thus far, the results coming in, the DA have done well against the Freedom Front. We know that in the lead up to these by-elections, the Freedom Front had a good set of results against the ANC. In this part, and this includes conservative pockets of the northwest, the DA have not only held on to their seats, but also increased their majority. There are also very important by-elections in Mkhondo yesterday. That's near Mkhondo, formerly Piet Retief, on the Eswatini border, timber country. So here the ANC was defending 5 seats, and they've retained all 5 seats with an increased majority. There was a strong EFF campaign and a strong independent campaign. And these results mean that the ANC will be able to elect its own mayor and its own speaker. That is very, very important for the ANC, especially in Mpumalanga, on the verge of the ANC National Conference. And then we go briefly to eThekwini. This has been a battleground municipality for since the last local government elections. This is also where we know that beaches have been closed and the mayor's come under a cloud of scrutiny. In this particular area, in the town, in the village of Umkumas, the IFP have won a big majority, taking the seat off the ANC. This was an ANC seat. And what is very interesting here is that the DA said, look, the opposition parties are splitting the vote. We're going to step aside and ask our voters to come out and vote for the IFP. And what the results show is that the DA voters heeded that call and backed the IFP, and the ANC's already tenuous grip in eThekwini has become even more vulnerable this morning.
So with that being said, what's likely then to happen, I suppose, in both Ditsobotla and Mkhondo? What's likely to happen now?
Okay, so just explain what happened in Mkhondo briefly. These 5 ANC councillors were expelled because they defied the party instruction. They refused to vote in the mayoral election after the local government election. And even though the ANC had the majority of seats, these 5 councillors, and there was one more who was a proportional councillor, their non-participation resulted in the unlikely event of an independent councillor and a councillor from the African Transformation Movement, ATM, being elected as mayor and speaker respectively. Now that the ANC have filled these 5 vacancies, they'll be able to call a council meeting and elect their own mayor and their own speaker. that is a great result for the ANC, and they can now focus on service delivery in that area. When it comes to Ditsobotla, look, we've only had 7 out of the 20 wards declared, but the results definitely point to the fact that the ANC are not going to have more than 50% of the seats as they've always had. This means that there's going to be a coalition. The big winners thus far are the EFF. We know that I think in the Northwest they'll be reluctant to work with the ANC. We also know that the DA and the EFF cannot work together. What I'm looking for is there another party, such as the Northwest Party, the Forum for Service Delivery, possibly the Patriotic Alliance, possibly another party, a local party, who's going to merge with enough seats to say, look, we have to get rid of the ANC here. We know EFF doesn't like the DA, and the DA certainly doesn't like the EFF. Can the opposition parties coalesce behind a smaller party and remove the ANC from power? But let's carry on following those results.
Yeah.
Again, we're seeing the ANC retain some seats, but they are just simply seeing those majorities being reduced, and this means that they are not going to get the magical number of 20 seats needed out of the 39-seat council, and we are going into coalition country in a rural part of the Northwest.
Interesting results, and thank you so much for, of course, talking to me about them this morning. Elections analyst Wayne Sussman, that's where we leave it for this morning. Thank you so much for your time.